Today's video shout out goes to my cousin Knox. We recently had some family in town, and so Knox and I were able to get out on the water together, and I gotta say, he's quite the fisherman. Knox, I hope all is well in Kansas, and I hope school is off to a good start. This one's for you, buddy.
There's one. That didn't take me very long. All right, not a bad fish. He was up real shallow in the grass. We're doing some fun stuff today, my friends. We're playing around on the paddleboard. Not a bad little chunk right there. That was awesome. See you, buddy. On the bubblegum Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper. Good morning from my paddleboard. I'm actually on a body of water where I've never really fished before. I've made a couple casts from bank, but I've never actually tried fishing here hard. So today I've got one casting outfit. I happen to have this pink swim bait on there to start. It obviously caught me a fish, and that's great, but I've got one little small bag of gear, and I'm probably gonna change throughout the day. The goal is simple. I just want to catch fish. I don't know what's out here. I want to see what's living down there. What kind of bass can I catch? Are there big ones? Am I gonna mess with any toothy critters? I don't necessarily know, but I'm probably gonna throw mostly pretty large gear, total opposite of what I normally do. You know, I'm obviously a huge ultralight guy. Today I just kind of been craving throwing a casting rod and just kind of fishing with a little bit bigger gear, so that's what we're doing. Anyways, it rained this morning. It's a beautiful day. It's gonna be an awesome day for a paddle. Let's get back to it. Oh, that wasn't a very big fish, but he took it down. I don't know why I didn't hook him. He must have just let go right before I set the hook. There's a bite. Oh, shoot. Oh, there's a bite. Oh, he doesn't have it. It's a little fish. There, he's got it. Oh, he doesn't. Ah. No, that was stupid. I shouldn't have set the hook. He took my tail. I'm gonna keep trying one of these, but that little dink just ripped my tail off. This thing was already getting beat up anyways, so it's not a huge deal, but it is kind of annoying. I got these Spro bags recently. I got a couple of them. They're pretty great. And then I've attached them with this little Rapala deal, and it's so perfect for the paddleboard. It's just an easy way of keeping things attached without losing it, but at the same time, it's very accessible too. So one tip is you definitely want to put your swim bait on there super straight, but you really ideally want to get it on there super straight the first time so you don't start tearing up your plastic. So first off, I'm going to put the little screw lock in there. That part's not too terribly hard, and that should go in to the nose, just nice and straight. And then once you have it all lined up, then you really just want to make sure you're coming right through the belly and straight out the back. But you want to make sure that you've got it lined up properly so you're not tearing up your plastic too much unnecessarily. So I'm just going to leave my hook buried in there, but it's just to the point where it will pop out when a fish bites down on that plastic. So that's perfectly straight. That'll run exactly how I want it to. So we're good to go. Now, if I would have really botched that the first time and had to start re-rigging, this plastic's too soft. It can't handle constantly being messed with. So you really want to take your time and get it on there straight from the start, and that'll definitely save you plastics in the long run. Oh, these little short strikers. Shoot. There's a bite. Oh, small fish. He just mouthed it. They're kind of just coming over from the side and T-boning it, and then just kind of mouthing it a little bit and letting go. That's been a lot of the little bites I've had. Oh my gosh. No, that was a good fish. He dropped it. He might come back. Come back. Come back. He never had a hook. That was a good fish. Shoot. I don't know what happened there. When I went to set the hook, he had just spit it out. They're just not really holding on. I had a delayed reaction, to tell you the truth. I had slack and I tried to reel it down, and that little split second costed me that fish. Kind of a slow start to the day, but I trust we'll turn things around. They are biting this thing. I just got to get them to commit to it a little bit more. There's one. That fish I got. That fish I got. And he spit it. This paddleboard, I'll tell you, it does make it a little bit harder with like a big hardy hook set because the paddleboard moves. And you got to make sure you're really giving them some mustard on the hook set, my friends. I don't know if that's the proper way of saying it, but I'm just going to call it mustard. What I mean by that is set the hook hard. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. That's more like it. And I set the hook like a beast that time, so he ain't getting off. That fish ain't getting off. That's a nice one. There's a small one behind him, but I don't care about that fish. I care about the one I'm about ready to land. Swing him up. Yes. Oh, baby. That's a nice little beefcake right there. All right, buddy. Thanks for the fight. Not a giant by any means, but a very healthy fish. See you later, dude. Well, almost lost my rod. Goodness gracious. Gotcha. I had to have a little delay there because the fish did not have it on the first little tap. I could tell that he just kind of smacked it. Now he's under my crotch. What are you doing? I could tell he just smacked it, and then he actually held on the second go. That fish is really fat. Jeez Louise. He is the feistiest fish of all time. Okay, there you go. That fish is really fat. He's built. He's a really healthy bass. And he is feisty, my goodness. I can always tie the skinny dipper back on. I'm gonna put on this Megabass eye slide. I bought this thing like a year ago. It's just been sitting in my room and I feel like I gotta try it. I'm seeing a lot of bluegill, so the color should be right. Looks good. It's a fish. Not a big fish, but it's a fish. Build up some confidence, slowly but surely. Oh my goodness, this one's a dangerous fish is what it is. Stop it, stop flopping. Stop flopping, yeah, it's dangerous because it's small and it's thrashing and I've got big treble hooks. There we go. Not exactly what you think of when you tie on a 5-inch swim bait, you know, an 8-inch bass, but it's a fish on the swim bait though, you know, it's something. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 2 big ones followed it in. What? Dang, where'd they go? 2 big ones followed it in. Both respectable fish. That's very common, I think, for you to get follows, but not necessarily always bites. I really want to keep this thing on, but I feel like all I'm going to get is just a lot of follows, and I don't think I'm going to get a lot of commitments. So I'm actually going to switch to something that gets a little bit deeper in the water column. It's going to stay high for the most part, but at least I can count it down, and that is the Megabass Mag Draft. I've had success with the Mag Draft in the past, so I have a lot more confidence with that bait. So we're going to tie it on and see what happens. I switched from the Mag Draft to something a little bit slower. This is the KVD Perfect Plastics Opta Super Fry. It's a 4.5-inch stick bait, and I kind of like the color. Looks pretty sweet. It's like brown, black, and chartreuse. And then I've got it on one of those VMC rugby jigs. It's just like basically like a Texas rig jig is what I like to call it. So just kind of a weedless approach. A little bit more finesse, a little bit slower moving. You know, they just don't seem like they're going to be aggressively chasing necessarily. That's one way to do it. Gotcha. No, he shook it. Dadgummit. I think the phrase that I would use to describe this fishing trip so far is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The skinny dipper was catching fish, I was having a blast, and I re-rigged to other things to just kind of experiment, and it didn't pay off. I just missed a fish on this, so I'm gonna give it a few more minutes, but the likelihood is that I'm gonna switch back to the skinny dipper because I wanna catch more fish, and I feel like nothing else is working, so I might as well stick with the tried and true, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's get back to fishing. Oh, here's a bite. Oh, that was a pike, and he literally, I didn't even swing on him, and he bit my line off. Daggum. I guess that's a sign. That is a sign that I need to be fishing with the skinny dipper, because that fish, I'd never even set the hook. I was about ready to swing for the moon, and man, he just bit it clean off. Didn't even get a chance to swing on him. That's lame. All right, the good news is we've got a lot more cover on this bank, so I'm gonna start throwing this thing up in the trees and the grass a lot more. This looks like skinny dipper territory, my friends. Back in business. Gotcha. I saw that fish eat. Looky there. Healthy little chunk. Man, he flashed on it, and then he just he grabbed it. So he had it like this, and then he just, you know how bass, these largemouth, man, when they open their mouth, they just vacuum stuff up, and that's what he did. I saw the whole thing. Man, got you good, didn't I? Well, finally I hooked a fish really good. See ya, buddy. Like I said, I think you really just gotta commit to this. If they're hitting it, yeah, you're gonna have some fish that don't eat it all the way. But if you just stick with it, you're likely gonna catch a bunch. And that was my problem today. But fortunately, I think I've pretty much convinced myself that I ain't messing with my fishing gear anymore. I'm sticking it out with this puppy right here. You know, I think a lot of people have a hard time skipping a bait caster, and I did for a long time. But I think the reality is you just got to find a bait caster that you feel comfortable with. And these Daiwas have done a really good job for me these last couple of years. I feel like I'm better and more proficient at skipping lures now. And I always was a Shimano guy, but I've really enjoyed my Daiwa bait casters, especially for skipping lures, because I've done quite well. I have tons of confidence. The other thing is, as you build more confidence, you become a lot better at skipping lures, because the reality is, you start casting with a lot more intention. I feel like when you don't have confidence, you're nervous and you don't really commit to the skip. When you know that you can skip it, you commit to the skip and you end up getting a way better skip. So the big thing that you'll see me doing now is I'm really trying to point my rod tip at my lure as much as possible, because like I mentioned, you know, this paddleboard, when a fish bites and I set the hook, this paddleboard's gonna get pulled, you know? The other thing is, if it's not a huge fish, the fish will probably get pulled towards me. So what that does is you're getting both sides, you're pulling towards each other, and you gotta really reel fast in order to make up that slack line that you just created. So, you know, I'm really trying to keep my rod tip pointed to my lure as much as possible to reduce the amount of slack line I have and just get a good hook set. There's a bite, he's small. Does he have it? He's got it. Man, that one I was so, uh-oh, trash. Oh gosh, now we're drifting into the tree. That one I was so nervous to set the hook because I really didn't want him. Gosh dang it. Chill out. Oh gosh, this is the joys of paddleboard fishing. I didn't want that fish to rip off my tail, so I was very reluctant to setting the hook. But in this case, I finally hooked one of the small ones. No issues. That was good stuff. I guess I haven't really talked about my retrieve a whole lot today. I mean, obviously, it's not too complicated. Really, it's cast it up there in the cover as close as you can get it, and then just a real slow roll. I'm really not twitching it at all. I'm really not doing anything other than just a slow wind. Oh man. Oh man, that was a good fish, and he just hit it and dropped it immediately. Dadgummit, I saw him. He came rocket launching out of that grass, came up, smacked it once, dropped it immediately, Never even had a chance at him, and he swam away so dang fast. What the heck, man? Ah, frustrating, man, frustrating, to say the very least. Shoot. I don't know, probably pretty good fish. I don't know, probably 17 incher or something. It's hard to say. I saw his body, but I saw him very briefly because he rocket launched out of there as quick as possible. This wind. If I stood up, I'd get entirely torched, but even, oh my gosh, no! What the heck? He came back for it again. Gosh, dang it, are you kidding me? There he is, he came back for it. Yes, yes. Thank goodness for making a good pitch back there. Good fish. That was nuts, okay, I gotta explain that. That was wild. Okay, I don't know what was happening. I was talking about the fact that the wind was destroying me. This fish comes up and tries to smack it right in front of my kayak. He smacks at it twice, misses it, so I make a quick pitch behind the boat about 15, 16 feet because that's the way he was headed, and it paid off. This guy came back and ate it. Man, he was aggressive. Not a giant, but nice, respectable fish, man. That was awesome. What a crazy bite. There's bite. Oh! Gosh, dang it. Probably a small fish, didn't have it all the way. We'll see if he comes back. There he is. Got him. Yeah, it's small fish, but he came back. There you go. I'm getting some of the smaller bites finally. Hooking them, actually. Good stuff. Dadgummit. Well, that fish straight up took the last bubblegum skinny dipper. Well, today obviously was not the best day of bass fishing of my life, but it was really nice to be out on the paddleboard. It's always fun, especially when the weather's so good. Obviously the fish were biting. You know, I didn't necessarily capitalize on a lot of the bites, but I caught quite a few fish, so I'm not gonna complain too much. But really, most importantly, I hope that you realize that whether you're throwing a Reaction Innovations skinny dipper or any other type of small soft plastic swim bait, the little belly weighted hook is such an effective way to cover water, but also be able to present your bait through a lot of tight cover and junk and grass and everything else. And it's a really effective way to catch fish. And I promise you, I usually have a little bit higher hook to land ratio, especially in like my bigger kayak. In the paddleboard, I'm still not quite dialed in on this thing. I feel like I still miss a lot of fish with traditional bass fishing gear, so that's on me. I'm gonna continue to get better over time. But all in all, I've had a great day. I am gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna get going home. I'm probably gonna make like 20 more casts, see what happens. Maybe I'll catch another fish. Anyways, have a great day. We'll catch you next time. Oh, you reeled them all the way to the tip.
I need to let mine go. No, he's pulling. I'm pulling.
Close the bail.
Oh, there we go. First fish of the day.
Show 'em off.
That. It's not big, but we'll take it. And that might wrap up the video for today. See you guys.